Hi, my name is Dr. Adam Manley, and today we're going to talk about Session 4, Tools. Mainly we're going to be talking about the primary hand and power tools used in plumbing and HVACR. First off, let's talk about your basic screwdrivers. Screwdrivers can be found in many sizes and in two principal configurations, slotted and Phillips. Other specialty types of screw and bolt heads are available for specialized hardware. In any case, it's important that the correct and proper fitting screwdriver be used and that the screwdriver is properly placed in the head of the screw. While wrenches are used in many trades, they are very important in plumbing work. Wrenches come in many sizes and shapes. As with all tools, the proper wrench should be used for each job. The length of the wrench size is determined by measuring the distance from the end of the handle to the jaw. Wrenches commonly used in plumbing and HVACR include the box end wrench, the flare nut, the hex and Allen wrench, the socket wrench, and the adjustable wrench. Hammers, which are used for striking and pounding, come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some hammers applicable to both HVAC and plumbing include the ball peen hammer. This hammer has a striking head and a ball end for peening. It is used for striking impact tools, working metal, or breaking cast iron fittings. Safety glasses are required when using the ball peen hammer. The claw hammer is a hammer that has a striking face and two-prong claw for prying or removing nails. They can be used for nailing or general woodworking. And the soft blow hammer, or what's sometimes called a rawhide mallet, is used to prevent damage to the surface being hammered. Pliers are designed to hold round and irregular shaped objects and should only be used on nuts and bolts if they've been damaged to the point that a wrench no longer will work. Tongue and groove pliers are adjustable and are used for light work. Long nose or needle nose pliers are used for appliance and control wiring and other fine work. Lineman's pliers are used for cutting electrical wire and appliance wiring. Wire cutters are available in single-purpose tools, commonly called diagonal cutters, or as multi-purpose tools that can crimp wire connections and even cut small screws. Sheet metal cutting tools are used obviously to cut sheet metal and also to put holes in various forms of the work. Special care must be taken when using sheet metal cutting tools as the metal edges left on the material being worked are extremely sharp, thus gloves should be worn. There are many different types of sheet cutting tools. Primarily the ones used in our industry are tin snips, which are available to cut straight, left-handed or right-handed shapes. Also, the chassis punch set. A chassis punch set is used to cut large diameter holes in thin metals such as stainless steel sinks, metal studs. They are more commonly thought of as an electrician's tools, but they are very useful for the plumber and HVAC technician. Preparation of copper tubing for soldering or brazing requires specialized tools for HVAC and plumbing technicians. Cutting of a wide variety of tubing cutters are available for copper tubing. A pocket tubing or mini tubing cutter is suitable for cutting refrigeration tubing and supply tubes to most fixtures and appliances. Cutting the pipe with a cutter or saw leaves a sharp and rough edge, so we sometimes will use reaming or deburring. Reaming the inside diameter and deburring the outside diameter of the tube ends are needed for best flow performance and for proper fitting assembly. Many wheel cutter tools are fitted with a reamer blade that can be positioned for use after cutting is completed, or a separate tool may be used. Deburring can be done with a sharp file or a sharp blade on the outside of the tubing end. Flaring is a procedure that enlarges the opening of the tubing by angling the walls out at a 45-degree angle. This angled surface forms a sealing surface between the tubing and the fitting. Tools that perform this task in a uniform shape are available from a variety of manufacturers. Flaring and bending should always be performed on annealed tubing. Swedging, swagging, and sizing both involve forming the tube around a plug. The swedge or swage is a 2-diameter tool with a taper between the two sizes used to enlarge a pipe end to a female socket. Swedging produces a socket end on the copper tube, permitting the connection of two pieces of tube without using a coupling. The sizing tool is used to restore a round shape to an end so that the tube can be used for satisfactory joints. A tube bender are used to form bends in small diameter copper tubing. These are handy for closet and lavatory supplies and refrigeration lines made from copper tubing. A wire brush is used to clean copper tubing before it is brazed or soldered. Files are used commonly in both industries, and they're used to smooth out rough and deteriorated areas in many types of equipment. In plumbing work, small fish tape is used much like a hand snake. Large fish tapes are used to clean larger drain lines. They are 1 to 2 inches wide and about 1/8 inch thick. They are usually no more than 50 feet long because longer lengths lose pushing force along their length and are not effective against stubborn stoppages. Fish tape for HVAC uses is a long, semi-rigid wire or fiberglass material that is rolled up inside a case and used to fish wire through conduit. The tape is extended through conduit until it exits on the other end. The electrical wire, control, or thermostat wire is secured to the looped end of the tape, and the tape is then rolled back into the case as it pulls the wire to the point where it's needed. A flashlight is needed for insulation, emergency, and repair work. Keeping spare batteries and lamps on hand is always a good idea. Flashlights are available in sizes from pin lights to heavy-duty multi-cell fluorescent. Many companies now offer models that clip to the brim of a hat, which allows for hands-free operation. A hacksaw is used in a variety of finishing tasks in plumbing work and may also be used to cut pipe or metal in both HVAC and plumbing work. Scratch awls are used for marking parts, retrieving parts, and removing faucet washers. A tap and die set is used to clean or repair damaged threads. Tape measures are used to establish the length. They are usually marked in feet and inches, with the inches typically subdivided into 1/16, and they are available in lengths up to 300 feet. A torpedo level, also sometimes called a spirit level, is used to check horizontal and vertical lines for slope or plumb condition in plumbing work, or to level air handlers, evaporators, and thermostats in HVAC work. A small bubble in a vial of alcohol is centered between two lines on the tube when the level is absolutely horizontal. Most levels can also show vertical plumb, and many levels are equipped with a vial at a 45-degree angle to measure that angle. Longer levels are available to determine that a wall is plumb or a floor is level, or for any other type of use. Some levels are also equipped with a feature which immediately indicates 1/8 inch per foot or 1/4 inch per foot slope. A utility knife is always handy to have because it helps with opening shipping boxes and other non-metal cutting. A voltage tester is used to determine whether power circuits to a plumbing appliances are energized. Be familiar with its safe use before using it to test a circuit. A closet auger is a flexible cable with a crank handle on one end and a short corkscrew on the other. The cable is held in a short tubular sleeve used to direct the end into a water closet trap. It can then be advanced into the trap to clear the bowl of any obstructions. An ohm meter is a measuring instrument used to measure the current in a circuit. Electrical currents are measured in amps, hence the name. A multimeter is an instrument used to measure voltage, amperage, and resistance. Sometimes this meter is called a VOM, which stands for volt, ohm, and milliamp meter. There are other analog meters and digital meters. The analog meter uses a needle meter movement, and the digital meter uses an electronic readout. The analog meter requires battery power only for the resistant measurements, but the digital requires battery power to display all. Now let's talk about some common shared power tools. An abrasive cutoff saw looks like a bench-mounted circular saw with an arbor feeder arm to control the feed speed of the cutting blade. Pipe material is anchored to the table, and the blade is advanced manually into the work material at a rate to match the cutting rate. A bandsaw can be handy to cut steel, plastic, or copper materials, and they're excellent for high-speed production. Circular saws are used for cutting wood in framing and finish work. They are available in bench-mounted, table-mounted, and portable varieties. Several manufacturers make tools for compressing the special end of the press-to-connect or push-to-connect fittings for use with copper plumbing. After the tubing is cut, chamfered, and reamed, no other preparation is needed and the fitting is placed into the tube end. The power tool completes the joint in a few seconds. There's no need to have the tube drying as is required with soldering, and no elevated temperature, so fire hazard and personal injury from burns are non-existent. There is also a reduced exposure to leaks using this particular method and tool. One of the most useful tools for HVAC and plumbing technicians would be a cordless drill. Cordless drills with high voltage ratings will maintain greater torque for a longer period of time. Also, having a battery charger and a spare battery on hand when working on a job is convenient. These tools are used to break up and move along any stoppages in a drain pipe. The cable should correspond to drain size. Check the manufacturer's recommendations for correct sizes. A hammer drill is a tool that hammers into the material with high-speed blows while simultaneous drilling. Some models can be adjusted to hammer only or to drill only. Hammer drills are used primarily in medium and heavy-duty construction for drilling holes in concrete and masonry. An impact wrench is used for work on systems requiring multiple bolting, reaming, tapping, and screwing. It is more commonly found as a compressed air tool, but can be electric or cordless as well. A jigsaw is used mostly for finish work, such as cutting sink openings and countertops. Blades are available to cut metal, wood, formica, and plastic. A plasma cutter uses an electric arc to cut any material that will conduct electricity, including cast iron. It is very productive when any cut is needed in a metal object. A reciprocating saw is used for rough end work. The blade moves in an up and down motion. Blades are available to cut fiberglass sheets, sheet metal, pipe, and wood. A soldering gun is used for safe, flameless soldering of a pipe. 2 mating clamps wrap around the pipe, and sufficient heat is used to melt solder by current passing from the clamp to the other clamp. A T-drill is a tool capable of drawing out solder cup from a drilled hole in a copper tube. It saves the cost of reducing T, and its insulation and provides flexibility in places where side branches are located when installing tubing mains in either plumbing projects, heating, cooling, or processing piping jobs. That concludes the tool session. So the next steps would be to study this PDF version of the presentation. Also, for this particular session, I developed an online flashcard system. So you can find the link within this module, and you could study each of these tools that we mentioned via the online flashcards. And then when you feel like you're ready, take the tool quiz. And good luck.